Hello bookworms, welcome to another review video. Today I am reviewing Promises and Pomegranates by Sav R. Miller. Let's see if I can hold that evenly for you guys. I kind of like the cover art. It's like pomegranates cut open with some flowers and stuff. More pomegranate seeds and some gold painted leaves there. They're trying to go with the Greek mythology theme. This is Monsters and Muses book 1, but technically it's a standalone as well. Like, they're related, the series are related, but you don't need to read them all to get the storyline. I have been told. I've only read this one and some reviews on book 2, so I'm not sure. But that's the impression that I get. I will read the back for you. To most, Cal Anderson is a villain. Harbinger. I am not good with that word. Harbinger of death. Keeper of souls. Frequenter of nightmares. Dr. Death. Hades incarnate. Sorry, Rywon's down. He wanted to start the video with me, but he doesn't want to end it. They say he stole me. Usurped my fiance and filled the cracks in my heart with empty promises. Imprinted his crimson fingerprints on my psyche and tried to set me free. They're not wrong per se, except it was my choice to stay. To most, Elena Ricci, it's Italian, so Ricci, is an innocent. To most, Elena Ricci is an innocent. Goddess of springtime, lover of poetry, angel of my nightmares. Little one, Persephone personified. They say I ruined her, shattered her virtue, and devoured her soul like a succulent pomegranate. Embedded my evil as deep as I could possibly get and tried to set her free. They're not wrong per se, except it was she who ruined me. So this is not really a retelling of Hades and Persephone. The two main characters, Elena and Cal, or Cal's just his nickname. I've already forgotten his full name. Is that wrong? Is that weird that I've forgotten his full name already? Anderson. His last name is Anderson. They just call him Cal. Anyway, Cal's supposed to be Hades. He and Elena is supposed to be Persephone. Now, it's not fantasy. It is real world. It is gangster, mobster. Cal is a hitman for the mob. He is also a doctor, like a physical, like he went to school and everything and has a medical degree. And Elena is his boss's oldest daughter. So it's real life, not, well, I guess not real life, not real. It's still fiction, but it is not fantasy. Rye, you left me. Come here. Come here. He's so needy right now, you guys. I'm sorry. I understand it, though. He misses his brother a lot, and I've been gone all day at work, so he's lonely and he just wants attention, and I totally understand. I love just holding him too. Obviously, I miss his brother as well. Back to the book. So yes, so it's a love story. It is a romance. It is smut. It is definitely 15 plus. There are explicit scenes in it, so definitely 15 plus. The characters go back the chapters go back and forth between Elena and Cal, depending on whose point of view, and it's in first person for both of them. I found the writing pretty good, and I liked Cal and Elena. I found them relatable. Their backgrounds are relatable. They are likable characters. I wanted to see good for them. But I found the plot kind of lacking. It's slow. It's really their love story, and there's not really much else to it. Like, it's kind of weak, the background story that's holding it together. There's definitely some plot holes, and it's definitely there's definitely some predictability to the story. It's not really because like the original Persephone and Hades story is sort of like captured. What's the word for the syndrome when the captor the prisoner falls in love with their captor. Don't mind my speech. Anyway, it's not quite like that. Like, he didn't like kidnap her outright. They just compare them to those characters, and they sort of talk a little bit. Like, he calls her his Persephone, and yeah, but it's not exactly the same as Hades. It's just like a very loose comparison to the original Hades and Persephone story. They don't get too much into the details in the background of his mobster life. Yeah, but I found it kind of weak, like the background stories and the actual, like, the plot behind it is weak, and there's holes, and yeah, but like the writing is good. It flowed. I read it in an hour and a half. Or no, an hour and a half, a day and a half. Fuck. I read it in a day and a half. It's got its moments for sure. And I found it interesting enough to keep reading it, obviously. I wanted to know what happened. And I was kind of hoping there'd be more depth to it. There's some spots where I felt like things that you thought were kind of like important, they go big gaps without even mentioning, and you're like, well, that seemed kind of important before, so why isn't it not an issue at this moment at all? And there's definitely some scenes, like especially later in the book, where they're just basically horny teenagers, which I mean, it is supposed to be a romance book, but I found it a little too much. Like, there's an unneeded scene in the storyline. The ending for their personal story, for Cal and Elena, is satisfying. The ending for them is good, and it's wrapped up neatly and finished. You can leave a little to the imagination, but not really. The points of the story that could lead to the second book is kind of a cliffhanger, in a weird way. Like, you're like, okay, so what's happening there? But I feel like if I never read the second book, it wouldn't matter. Like, it wouldn't bother me that I didn't know that point in the story, if that makes any sense. Which is strange. It's a definite, so I would rate it 3 stars out of 5. It's a good book. It's got decent writing. The characters are very likable, but the plot is kind of blah, and it doesn't really stand out at all. I liked it enough, but I don't think I'll be rereading it anytime soon, if at all. I might even gift it to someone later who I think might enjoy it. It's not like it's a bad book. It's a good book. But yeah, only 3 out of 5 stars. Not a real serious book. I was going to say something else and now I can't remember. But yeah, I don't really. If you're into the romances and you don't care that it doesn't have a serious plot, then I would recommend it, because that part of the book is good. But if you're the kind of person who likes a serious plot line, then it's not. I wouldn't recommend it for you at all. Like, there's some romance books out there that have like a good plot line behind them, and I highly enjoy them. like Sarah J. Maas books and Jennifer L. Armentrout books. They have an interesting and complex plotline behind the romance. This does not. It is strictly smut. And it's not even smutty smut. I mean, it was satisfying, but yeah. So it depends on what you like. If you want a serious book and some interest to it, then yeah, I'd pass on this. If all you want is just a fluffy romance, then it's great. Go ahead and gobble it up. Side note before I sign off, did you guys like my book Christmas Tree? I tried to do it. I don't know how well it looks. You can't really see the star on the top very much. I tried. This is my first attempt at a little Christmas tree to my book. Since I don't have enough books to actually make one stack out of books, I'd be using some of my TBR, which I want to read, so it defeats the purpose of putting it into a stack of books that I can't get access to. That kind of defeats the purpose. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Please like and subscribe and share till your heart's content. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and happy reading.